4 F-16s took off from Nellis Air Force Base for what everyone called boring formation practice until Captain Ana Rodriguez heard Mayday from her flight leader. When the lead pilot lost consciousness at 31,000 feet, she had to guide his unconscious body through a landing that no F-16 pilot had ever attempted. Where are you watching this from? Tell us in the comments. And if you have aviation emergency stories, let's chat below. The Nevada sun climbed above the Spring Mountains as 4 F-16C Fighting Falcons prepared for departure from Nellis Air Force Base. Captain Ana Rodriguez completed her pre-flight inspection with the methodical precision that had earned her a spot in the 422nd Test and Evaluation Squadron, but her presence in the elite formation flight program was still questioned by several of her male colleagues. "Another milk run with the new girl," muttered Major Tom Bradley as he watched Ana check her aircraft's control surfaces. "Formation flying is about trust and instinct. She's been here 6 months and still flies like she's reading a checklist." Captain Jake Morrison adjusted his helmet bag while studying the morning's flight plan. "Today's just basic diamond formation and tactical maneuvering. Pretty hard to screw up straight and level flight, even for a diversity hire." What they didn't know was that Ana had requested assignment to Nellis specifically for the Advanced Formation Training Program. Her previous experience flying F-16s with the Texas Air National Guard had included civilian airshow performances, where formation precision was measured in inches, not feet. Staff Sergeant Miguel Santos, Ana's crew chief, looked up from his final systems check. He'd been maintaining F-16s for 11 years and had worked with pilots from around the world. "You boys might want to check her logbook before you start making assumptions," he said quietly. "What's to check?" Bradley laughed. "National Guard weekend warrior who probably has more simulator time than actual flight hours." Santos shook his head. 3,000 hours in F-16s, including civilian demonstration flying where formation tolerances are tighter than anything you'll see in military training. The morning briefing had been routine. Lieutenant Colonel Mark Stevens, the squadron's operations officer, had outlined a standard formation training mission: takeoff in diamond formation, tactical maneuvering over the Nevada test range, and return to base for pattern work. "Rodriguez, you'll be flying number 4 position," Stevens had said. "Stay in formation, maintain radio discipline, and try to keep up with the experienced pilots." The message was clear: don't make mistakes, and don't get in the way of the real formation flying. Now, climbing through 25,000 feet in perfect diamond formation, Ana was about to prove that some situations require more than just following procedures. At 31,000 feet, the 4 F-16s were executing a tactical formation spread when Lieutenant Colonel Stevens's voice came over the radio with an unusual tone. "Flight lead, I'm experiencing some difficulty with aircraft control, possible hypoxia symptoms." Ana immediately understood the implications. Hypoxia, oxygen deprivation at altitude, could cause disorientation, confusion, and loss of consciousness. In an F-16 at 31,000 feet, it was potentially fatal. "Lead 2, can you describe your symptoms?" called Major Bradley from the number 2 position. "Vision, tunneling, controls feel strange, can't seem to." Stevens's transmission cut off abruptly. Ana watched in horror as the lead F-16 began a gentle but continuous descent. Through her canopy, she could see Stevens slumped forward in his cockpit, clearly unconscious. "Lead, this is 4. You're in an uncommanded descent. Respond if able," Ana transmitted urgently. No response. "Flight, this is 2. I have led aircraft," Bradley announced, but his voice carried uncertainty. "Lead appears to be unconscious. We need to..." He paused, clearly unsure of the procedure for this scenario. Ana had been in similar situations during civilian air shows where formation emergencies required immediate and precise action. She keyed her radio with calm authority. "Flight 4. Recommend immediate descent to lower altitude to revive lead pilot. I can maintain close formation and attempt to guide his aircraft." "-4, Bradley responded sharply. "You're not qualified for formation emergency procedures. We'll handle this from 2 position." But Bradley's F-16 was positioned wrong for the kind of close formation work needed to guide an unconscious pilot. Ana was in the optimal position, directly behind and slightly below Stevens's aircraft. 2-4. I have visual on lead pilot. He's definitely unconscious. Aircraft is descending through 29,000 feet at approximately 500 feet per minute. If we don't act now, he'll hit the ground in less than 15 minutes. The reality of the situation was becoming clear to everyone. Stevens's F-16 was flying itself on autopilot, but the gradual descent would eventually become unrecoverable. Ana made a decision that would define her career in military aviation. She moved her F-16 into a position no more than 20 feet from Stevens's aircraft, close enough to see his unconscious form clearly through the canopy. Flight 4, I'm establishing close formation with lead aircraft, going to attempt wake-up procedures. Rodriguez negative? Bradley's voice carried panic. You're not authorized for close formation emergency procedures. But Anna was already executing a technique she had learned during civilian demonstration flying, using aircraft positioning and radio calls to potentially revive an unconscious pilot through visual and auditory stimulation. She maneuvered her F-16 directly alongside Stevens's aircraft, close enough that the sound of her jet engine would be clearly audible in his cockpit. Then she began a series of gentle formation movements designed to create turbulence that would hopefully jostle Stevens awake. Lead, this is 4. I'm right beside you. Can you hear my voice? You need to wake up and take control of your aircraft. For 30 seconds, there was no response. Stevens remained slumped forward while his F-16 continued its gradual descent. Anna tried a different approach. She moved her aircraft even closer, now only 15 feet away, and began flashing her navigation lights while making her radio calls more urgent. Mark! Mark Stevens! This is Anna Rodriguez. You need to wake up now! Your family needs you to wake up! The personal approach worked. After what felt like an eternity but was actually only 45 seconds, Stevens's helmet began to move slightly. Lead 4, I see movement in your cockpit. Can you hear me? Stevens's voice came back weak but coherent. 4, what happened? Lead, you experienced hypoxia and lost consciousness. You're currently in a descent through 27,000 feet. Can you take control of your aircraft? Roger. Taking control now. Stevens's F-16 leveled off at 26,500 feet. Lead, recommend descent to 15,000 feet for recovery and medical evaluation, Anna suggested. Good idea, 4. Thanks for whatever you did. As the formation descended to a safe altitude, Stevens's condition improved rapidly. By the time they reached 15,000 feet, he was fully alert and flying normally. Flight lead, I'm feeling much better now. How did you guys handle the emergency? Bradley's response was telling. Actually, sir, Rodriguez took lead on the emergency procedures. She maintained close formation and used wake-up techniques to revive you. There was a long pause before Stevens responded. Rodriguez, where did you learn emergency formation procedures? Sir, civilian airshow flying requires close formation work and emergency protocols that aren't part of standard military training. When you lost consciousness, I used techniques designed for formation emergencies. Well, whatever you did worked. I'm alive because of your quick thinking. The landing at Nellis was uneventful, but the post-flight briefing was anything but routine. Flight surgeons confirmed that Stevens had experienced hypoxia due to a partial life support system failure, a condition that could have been fatal without immediate intervention. Lieutenant Colonel Stevens found Anna in the squadron ready room later that afternoon. His earlier dismissiveness had been replaced by genuine professional respect. Rodriguez, I need to thank you properly. What you did up there, most pilots would have followed standard procedures and called for emergency services. You took immediate action that saved my life. Anna looked at the man who had questioned her qualifications just that morning. Sir, emergency situations require adaptability. Sometimes standard procedures aren't enough. Where exactly did you learn those formation techniques? Civilian air shows, sir. When you're flying demonstration formations with vintage aircraft and inexperienced pilots, emergency procedures become second nature. Military training is excellent, but civilian flying teaches you to expect the unexpected. Stevens nodded thoughtfully. I'm recommending you for advanced formation instructor qualification. We need pilots who can think beyond the manual when lives are at stake. Over the following weeks, Anna found herself teaching formation emergency procedures to other F-16 pilots. The techniques she had learned in civilian flying, previously dismissed as irrelevant to military operations, became part of the squadron's emergency training curriculum. Major Bradley, who had been skeptical of Anna's abilities, approached her during a squadron briefing. Rodriguez, I owe you an apology. What you did for the colonel. I've been flying F-16s for 8 years and I've never seen formation flying like that. Formation flying is about more than maintaining position, Anna replied. It's about being ready to help your wingman when everything goes wrong. 3 months later, when another pilot in the squadron experienced a medical emergency during flight, 2 different pilots successfully used Anna's techniques to guide him safely home. The civilian airshow background that had been seen as irrelevant to military flying had proved invaluable in a real-world emergency. Anna's quick thinking had not only saved a life, but had contributed to improved emergency procedures for the entire F-16 community. Lieutenant Colonel Stevens, writing Anna's performance evaluation, Noted, Captain Rodriguez demonstrated that operational excellence comes from diverse experience and the ability to adapt non-standard techniques to emergency situations. Her contribution to formation emergency procedures will benefit F-16 operations throughout the Air Force. During a squadron social event 6 months after the emergency, Stevens raised his beer in a toast to Captain Rodriguez, who taught us that the best formation pilots aren't just the ones who can fly close, they're the ones who can think fast when everything goes wrong. The response was immediate and unanimous, "Here, here." Anna smiled and raised her own glass to formation flying and remembering that our most important job is bringing everyone home safely. As the evening continued, younger pilots gathered around Anna, eager to learn about civilian flying techniques and how they could be adapted for military operations. The woman who had been seen as an outsider with irrelevant experience had become the squadron's expert on formation emergency procedures. But late that night, reviewing flight safety reports, Anna reflected on the broader implications of her experience. Military aviation excellence didn't just come from following established procedures. It came from pilots willing to draw on all their experience when standard methods weren't enough. The civilian flying background that others had dismissed as inferior had proved essential when a fellow pilot's life hung in the balance. Anna had proven that expertise comes from many sources, and the best military pilots are those who can adapt any technique to save lives. Sometimes the most important skills aren't the ones taught in formal military training. Sometimes they come from experiences that others consider less important, until the moment when that diverse background makes the difference between life and death. Captain Ana Rodriguez had demonstrated that truth at 31,000 feet over Nevada, using civilian airshow techniques to save a fellow pilot's life, and proving that excellence in military aviation has many sources, including the ones that others don't initially recognize as valuable.